Greetings party peeps and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look back at the Impact Wrestling Down Under Tour, which was held over 2 days in Wagga Wagga, New South Wales from June 30th until July 2nd. Now first off, I want to take a moment to recognise how good the town of Wagga is. It was my first time there and I had an absolute ball. My partner and I stayed at the Houston, which was a beaut spot smack bang in the middle of the heart of town. A self-contained little bit of accommodation with all the creature comforts you need. So, if you're in the area, trust me, I do recommend it. Secondly, people who know me or are regulars on my socials, you'd know how much I love La Porchetta. And good news, guys and gals, there's a La Porchetta in Wagga Wagga, and it is one of the best I have ever been to. And I have been to a lot of La Porchettas. Also, if you're a train enthusiast like myself, the Junee Roundhouse Museum is just a stone's throw away from Wagga, and it is definitely a must-visit spot. I'll cover that leg of the trip in a separate video, but let's get straight to the wrestling. Now, it was the first time Impact has been on our shores, and as a long-time TNA fan, I made sure no matter where this was, I was going to be there. I only attended night 2 of the tour, but you can see both days of the action on Impact Plus and Fight TV as well. The evening kicked off with a match between two of Australia's finest pro wrestlers, the loose ledge Adam Brooks versus the sniper of the skies, Robbie Eagles. Now this match was to crown the first ever Oceania Pro Wrestling men's champion, and it was a belter of a match. If you haven't seen either of these two ever wrestle before, you are missing out. This was a hell of a match between the two, and Brooksy walked away the winner and the inaugural OPW men's champion. Next up, it was another battle of the country's best when the Natural Classics, Tome and Stevie Philippe, took on the Velocities, Jude London and Paris De Silva. Now I know I sound like I'm repeating myself, but these two tag teams have been killing it on our shores for years, and this match in Impact was another belter for the ages. So if you see any of these teams on a poster in your town or city, get tickets now. The Natural Classics got the victory this time round. I've been a huge fan of Moose from back in his Ring of Honor days, but I've really become a fan of Joe Hendry, who was defending his digital media championship against the former world champion, and the crowd absolutely loved Joe Hendry. He got them all fired up with some chants of Dancing Moose in another great match to retain his championship. It's no secret that hands down my favourite wrestler in the country is Slex, and I'm very biased, but ever since I first saw him when I was just a fan in the crowd at Melbourne City Wrestling, I've been all in on the business. Now, this was a dream match because he went toe-to-toe with Eddie Edwards. Eddie Edwards rose to fame as one half of the insane tag team, the American Wolves, but since becoming a singles wrestler, he has next leveled it. He became a Ring of Honor World Champion, TNA X Division Champion, a 2-time Impact Wrestling Champion as well, and Slex was able to match it with him pound for pound. But sadly, my man Slex, he wasn't able to get the win, but even in defeat, business is booming. Up next was Steph DeLanda taking on Killer Kelly. SDL is an absolute powerhouse, and there's a reason she was the first ever MCW Women's Champion, but since she left the WWE, she's been absolutely killing it on the independent scene. Along with my personal favourite wrestler, Matt Cardona, but I was very pumped that SDL had a major player's gear on for this match. This was a nice hometown win for SDL, and also her first win in Impact Wrestling as well. I'm a massive fan of the lads from the Major Wrestling Figure podcast and everything they do, so when it was announced that Brian Myers would be taking on Adam Brooks and Robbie Eagles in a 3-way match, that was my dream booking coming true. However, an injury to Steve Macklin on night 1 meant that couldn't happen, so unfortunately for me, we were given this first-time matchup with Myers taking on Frankie Kazarian. The Wagga crowd, though, was highly disrespectful towards the most professional wrestler, with numerous chants against him, and they were fully behind Kaz, but despite Myers pulling out all the stops, it was Kazarian that got the win. Business picked up very quickly because we had the Motor City Machine Guns take on ABC for the Impact Tag titles, and the Guns are absolutely ageless here. Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin were wrestling like this was a TNA Down Under tour in 2007, and Ace Austin and Chris Bay are no slouches either. This was hands down match of the night, and the Guns sadly couldn't add to their 3 tag title reigns, with ABC retaining the straps, but there was a solid show of respect at the end. The main event saw Deonna Purrazzo defend her Knockouts Championship against Giselle Shaw. Now, they don't call Deonna the virtuosa for nothing, but sadly for Giselle, she was outmatched. Deonna locked in the Venus de Milo to win by submission, and a hell of a moment happened after the match because she stuck around to address the crowd, and we in the audience all had the same thought. Please come back. Please come This was a long time coming, and I loved seeing Impact live. I was also stoked at having the chance to meet Brian Myers again. I first met him when he was in the WWE as Kurt Hawkins back at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando in 2017. He was great then, and even nicer now, so that was a lot of fun. It was also really great to see two of my great mates, Neddy and his son Brody, make the trip from Horsham all the way to Wagga to see Impact live. Now, he even got to meet the Guns too, because he's been a fan of them since day dot. And we even do an Impact podcast, well, every now and then, but that is how big of TNA and Impact fans we are. It was also a lot of fun to see the great man Michael Thompson there. Now, Tomo and I had the pleasure of being involved in Impact Wrestling's Australian Showcase, which was on the following day, so make sure you keep your eyes out for that, because it will be broadcast and it features yours truly on commentary with the Sniper of the Skies, Robbie Eagles, as well as some of the finest pro wrestlers that Australia has on offer. To echo the crowd from night 2, Impact Wrestling, please come back to Australia. Do yourself a favour, track down the replay on Fight TV or Impact Plus and check it out. But we've got a lot of great wrestling in this country, and there is some awesome shows that are happening right around this big round land coming up. PWA in Sydney, Slam Pro Wrestling in Canberra, EPW in Perth, Right City Wrestling in Adelaide recently did a show, then you can check that out on their website. And of course, my home base, Melbourne City Wrestling, will be back at the Thornbury Theatre on September 9th for MCW Ascension. Thank you so much for watching my Impact Down Under recap. If this is your first time at my channel, if you like what you see, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, follow me in socials, but if not, well, I'll catch you next time, and thanks for watching.